Hi, Rumians. I'm Druzhnik. Thank you for being here and welcome to the second speed build of Planet Zoo. Maybe you've seen it on Blissful Kitty's channel already. We have built a saltwater crocodile enclosure in our Blissful Druzoo, and I recorded the building process for you. So what I did is I made an enclosure that is lowered into the ground, and as you can see, I had some problems making a pathway because I had to start with that with an enclosure fence, and it was very, very difficult to make a sunken path that connected up with the normal path well enough. It took me so many tries. Like this is only the last try that you're seeing here. I think I had over 4 bathtubs made for the crocs before I finally found a way to make this work properly. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge, and I still think I didn't do it quite well enough because I have seen other enclosures on other channels that are, I think, more smooth or that look more logical, but this was the best that I could do. And here you can see me making the raised up path for the overview, so people can actually walk up there and kind of stand above the saltwater crocs and look into their enclosure and see a good part of them. Now, we did talk about it in our video. I think it would be wise to add a net around this this overlook because, you know, children, they climb up on the railing and they are not supposed to fall into the saltwater crocodile enclosure. I don't think that that's a good idea. So I think I'll be adding a net at some point. So this enclosure is very, very large. It's much larger than the crocs actually need. But, you know, it doesn't feel very large to me. I mean, I just made something that felt right, and they have a lot of room, but you know, I don't know. It just feels right to me. Smaller than this would be strange, I think. So yeah, I put in the water in the middle, in the center, and made the sand and all the flooring that they like, in a sense. Put in both a male and a female because they don't like to be in packs. They would probably kill each other. And then I started playing around with foliage that they enjoy. So, well, not just foliage that they enjoy, but also foliage that I thought would look pretty in this enclosure. So I put in some reeds and some water lilies, and I was playing around with, you know, placement and making it look pretty, but also being slightly functional. It doesn't have to be too functional, right? But we have different kinds of, I think these are cattails. They are not called cattails, but bush strip reeds or something, but they are cattails, I think, in a sense. And then some normal reeds and some trees and rocks. Because I wanted the enclosure to have like a natural fencing, sort of. So people are not supposed to climb over these huge rocks, but also the crocs. I mean, I don't think that they can climb the high slopes. I mean, I know that they can't, but just that slope was not enough for me to have a proper looking enclosure. So I wanted to put in all the rocks and make like a very natural sort of fence, so that it would be very clear that people are safe and that the crocs are not gonna come out and eat them. And then I figured I'd make an overhang for them, so like a natural sleeping place with rocks, and then a pillar in the center or on the sides. 2 pillars, I think. There they are. So I figured that'd be nice, and they'd have a place that is shaded and like a sleeping spot. So if they want to rest, if it's raining and they don't like the rain, or if it's snowing, I don't know, they can actually go and hide. And you know, and then I put in all the things that enrich their environment. So apparently they like balls. I didn't know they liked balls, and I also didn't know that they liked mud baths, but they do. So yeah, there you go. So I put those in and varied the foliage a little bit around the rocks and put in some other trees and just tried to make this look pretty. And after that, I actually worked on the outer side of the enclosure, putting in some foliage around the rocks, basically. And I don't know if you can see it in this video, but I put fencing on the path so that people actually don't walk over onto the rocks. And then between the fencing and the rocks, there is foliage. So I think there's enough of a natural barrier for people to not walk into the enclosure stupidly. It's basically. Oh yeah, and then another thing that you can see here is that slope that I made. Oh yeah, the flamingo escaped. That slope that I made was too steep, and the crocs actually were unable to get down, so I had to smooth it out. That took a while. It was not easy to make a slope that was good enough. So that's what I mean with, I think I could have done better with this enclosure in terms of the fence, the pathing, and the slope into the enclosure. It was difficult to make it work for them, but it needs to be smooth enough in order for the crocs to be able to get down there, and it is now. But yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. So that's something to keep in mind when you're making enclosures like this. And then I put in the signage for the people and donation boxes and all kinds of things. I wanted to make an overhang for the path so that they can actually stand there in the shade, like a, bit of a roof type of thing. I might do that later. I didn't do it now. I figured we need more money, so let's put in donation boxes in other parts of the the zoo as well. And I actually, let's see if we can. Oh yeah, you can see me putting in the fencing for the paths here, and I figured we do have homemade fences, self-made fences in a different part of the zoo, and they are still in there, but I didn't make them quite well enough, so I figured I'm just gonna go with the standard fences for this one. And then behind that I put the letters for the crocs, so showing what's actually in there. So obviously it's a crocodile, so I guess there is no surprise on what that's gonna say. Crocodile. There we go. And then I figured, you know what? It should be green. Should be green. Could have done it straight away. Would have been easier, but this works too. So yeah, crocodiles. A little bit lighter. Yeah, I think that's what it ended up looking as. And then I think this is where I start working on the foliage on the side. So here, just to make it a little prettier and more fenced off, and make it more like a zoo, I guess. Lots of nature. That's what zoos are about, right? So I think that's important. And yeah, just this is what I did. This is how far I got. So I hope that this is helpful to you if you want to build an enclosure like this. I hope you liked it. And I do have some more footage. I think it's like 3 more minutes or so. I am going to leave you here. At the end, you'll see some scenic shots for the crocodile enclosure and the crocs themselves. So if you like seeing that, then stay tuned for that. And for now, I am going to say goodbye to you. I hope you liked this speed build. If you did, hit the like button and please consider subscribing. It helps out immensely. New speed builds come out as I build new things in the zoo. But next time we have Kitty's build. So we'll see what magnificent things she makes. And I will gladly see you next time.